Are you starting your day with a healthy bowl of oatmeal? Millions of Americans do, believing it's the very best choice for their heart. But what if I told you that for seniors, this gold standard breakfast could actually be accelerating age-related muscle loss? That simple bowl of oatmeal, the one you trust, might be the very thing silently contributing to sarcopenia, making you weaker, less stable, and more prone to falls. If you felt that stiffness in your joints, or that frustrating loss of strength when you try to open a jar or carry groceries, I want you to know you are certainly not alone. We've been told this is just a normal part of aging. But what if it's not? What if the problem isn't just aging, but that your breakfast is failing you at a critical nutritional level? My name is Frank Taylor, and at 68 years young, I've spent a lot of time thinking about these very questions. Now, I want to be clear. I am not a medical doctor or a geriatrician. My journey over the past decade has been a bit different. I've dedicated my retirement to being a sort of health detective for folks just like us. I spend my days digging into the latest clinical studies, and I want to emphasize that all the research I mention will always be linked in the description below every video, so you can check it for yourself. My goal is to take that complex scientific information and turn it into practical advice that we can actually use in our daily lives. And one of the most surprising truths I've found is this. The breakfast most seniors eat is actively working against their muscles. A foundational study in the journal Nutrients highlighted a concept called anabolic resistance. This is critical. It found that as we age, our muscles become hard of hearing. They need a much louder protein signal to start building or repairing. Your 5-gram bowl of oatmeal? It doesn't even come close. It's a nutritional whisper, invisible to your muscles. So, in today's video, we are going to debunk the oatmeal myth. First, I'll reveal the hidden nutritional gap in that heart-healthy breakfast that silently contributes to muscle loss. Second, I'll explain the science of anabolic resistance in simple terms every senior needs to understand. And finally, I will show you 3 simple hacks to turn your oatmeal from a muscle waster into a muscle-building powerhouse. If you've ever felt that post-breakfast sugar crash, or wondered why you're not feeling stronger, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. This information might just change your mornings forever. The Oatmeal Trap, the science of why it fails. Seniors. All right, let's get into the heart of the matter. Why is this heart-healthy food, this staple of the American breakfast, failing our muscles so badly? The problem is twofold. There's the obvious problem, and then there's the hidden problem. And frankly, the hidden problem is the one that is truly accelerating sarcopenia. Let's tackle the obvious one first, the carb-to-protein ratio. A standard bowl of oatmeal, especially the instant kind, often with added sugar, maple, or raisins, is overwhelmingly carbohydrates. It's a sugar bomb in disguise. You get maybe 5 or 6 grams of protein, but you get a massive load of carbs. This high-carb, low-protein meal does one thing very quickly. It spikes your blood sugar and causes a flood of insulin. For many of us over 60, our bodies are already struggling with some level of insulin resistance. This kind of breakfast is like pouring gasoline on a fire. It makes it harder for our bodies to manage blood sugar, it promotes fat storage, and it leads to that dreaded mid-morning crash where you feel hungry and shaky just 2 hours later. But that's not even the main reason, that's just the appetizer. The real culprit, the concept that completely changed how I view breakfast, is something the scientific community calls anabolic resistance. Now, anabolic resistance sounds complicated, but I promise you the concept is very simple, and it is the single most important idea for any senior who wants to maintain strength. Anabolic means to build up. Resistance means, well, to resist. As we age, our muscles become resistant to the signals that tell them to build or repair. Think of it this way. When you were 25, your muscles were like eager listeners. A small amount of protein, say 10 or 15 grams, was a clear signal to start building muscle. Your muscles heard it loud and clear. But as we get older, our muscles become hard of hearing. They need a much louder signal to wake them up. So, what is that louder signal? This is where the research is crystal clear, and I'll link these studies in the description. Researchers like Dr. Stuart Phillips at McMaster University, one of the world's leading experts on protein and aging, have shown this time and again. They found that for seniors, we need a threshold amount of protein in a single meal to trigger what's called muscle protein synthesis, MPS. MPS is the scientific term for the on switch for muscle growth and repair. And what is that threshold? The data consistently points to a minimum of 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein in one sitting. Let me repeat that because it's the most important sentence in this video. You need 25 to 30 grams of protein at one time just to flip the on switch for muscle growth. If you eat 20 grams, the switch stays off. If you eat 10 grams, the switch definitely stays off. Now, let's look at that healthy bowl of oatmeal again. You cook it with water. You add some brown sugar. You are getting at most 5 or 6 grams of protein. What happens when those 5 grams hit your anabolically resistant muscles? Absolutely nothing. It's not a quiet signal. It's a whisper in a hurricane. It is nutritionally invisible to your muscles. It does nothing to stop sarcopenia. It doesn't even slow it down. You are, in effect, starving your muscles every single morning, right when they need fuel the most after an overnight fast. You're filling your stomach, you're spiking your blood sugar, but you are not triggering muscle protein synthesis. This is the oatmeal trap. You think you're doing something good for your heart, but you are completely neglecting the engine of your body, your muscle. And we've been doing this for decades, while at the same time we've seen an explosion of sarcopenia, frailty, and falls among seniors. This is the problem. But the good news is the solution is simple. Debunking the other, healthy breakfasts. So the evidence is clear. Anabolic resistance is the enemy, and our 5-gram bowl of oatmeal is a nutritional failure for fighting muscle loss. Now, at this point, many of you might be thinking, okay, Frank, I get it. Plain oatmeal is no good, but I'm smarter than that. I don't eat it plain. I add a banana. Or maybe you're thinking, I don't eat oatmeal at all. I have whole wheat toast and a glass of orange juice. That's healthy, right? I understand why you think that. We have been conditioned for decades by food marketing and outdated government guidelines to believe that a healthy breakfast is one that is low in fat, low in calories, and high in healthy carbs and fruit. Well, I'm here to tell you that this entire paradigm is the popular solution that is failing us. These fixes are just different versions of the exact same mistake. They are all part of the oatmeal trap. Let's debunk them one by one. Popular myth number 1. I'll just add fruit. This is the most common one. We think, I'll make it healthy by adding a sliced banana or a handful of raisins or a drizzle of maple syrup. Let's look at this with our new anabolic resistance lens. What have we done? A banana adds about 1 gram of protein. Raisins? Practically 0. Maple syrup? 0. What you have added is 15, 20, or even 30 more grams of sugar. You haven't solved the 5-gram protein problem. You've just worsened the blood sugar spike. You've taken your nutritional whisper and added a foghorn of sugar to it. Your muscles are still deaf to the signal, and now your insulin is working overtime. Adding fruit sounds healthy, but in this context, it does nothing to fight sarcopenia. Popular myth number 2. The healthy egg white omelet and toast. All right, so you're avoiding the carbs. You've switched to eggs. This is much better, right? Well, maybe. Because of the low-fat craze of the 80s and 90s, many of us were trained to fear the yolk. We were told egg whites only for our heart. So we make an omelet with 3, maybe 4 egg whites. Let's do the math. One egg white has about 3.5 grams of protein. A 3-egg white omelet gives you about 10.5 grams of protein. Is that better than oatmeal's 5 grams? Yes, absolutely. But is it 30 grams? No, it's not even close. You're still failing to meet the minimum threshold to trigger muscle protein synthesis. Your signal is louder. It's a shout instead of a whisper. But your muscles are still hard of hearing. You need a roar. You're leaving more than half the solution on the table, and by throwing out the yolk, you're throwing out critical nutrients like choline, which is vital for brain and nerve function. Popular myth 3. The classic continental breakfast. This is the one we see in hotels and cafes everywhere. A glass of heart-healthy orange juice and a piece of whole wheat toast with jam. Let's be blunt. This is probably the worst breakfast a senior can eat. A glass of orange juice is nutritionally identical to a glass of soda. It's liquid sugar with a few vitamins, 0 protein. A piece of whole wheat toast? Maybe 3 grams of protein. The jam, pure sugar, 0 protein. Your total protein for this meal is 3 grams, even less than the oatmeal. This breakfast is a Sarcopenia special. It is a guaranteed recipe for spiking your blood sugar, feeling hungry an hour later, and ensuring your muscles continue to waste away. So you see the popular solutions: adding fruit, eating only egg whites, drinking juice and toast. They all fail the one test that matters for senior muscle health. They do not provide 25 to 30 grams of protein. They are all different rooms in the same low-protein trap. Now, I've spent all this time telling you what not to do. It's time to show you what to do. It's time to show you how to hack your breakfast correctly and turn that simple bowl of oatmeal from the problem into the ultimate solution. The 30-gram breakfast blueprint, the real solution to sarcopenia. So we've had a bit of a tough conversation. We've established that anabolic resistance makes our muscles hard of hearing. We've learned that the 5 or 6 grams of protein in a standard bowl of oatmeal is just a whisper that our muscles can't hear. And we've debunked the popular fixes, like adding a banana or using a few egg whites, and shown that they also fail to meet that critical 25 to 30 gram protein threshold. They are all different rooms in the same low-protein trap. It can feel frustrating. If all these healthy options are wrong, what is right? Well, the good news is that the real solution is incredibly effective, and it is backed by a mountain of clinical research. The solution isn't a single superfood. The solution is a strategy. I call it the 30-gram breakfast blueprint. This blueprint is the truly correct and comprehensive solution you need. It's built on 3 scientific principles: protein distribution, protein quality, the leucine trigger, and protein timing. Let's break them down. Principle number 1, protein distribution, the Patton-Jones study. For decades, we've only worried about our total daily protein. But research from scientists like Dr. Douglas Patton-Jones at the University of Texas Medical Branch has completely changed our understanding. His research focuses on how we distribute that protein throughout the day. The typical American diet is skewed. We eat a tiny amount of protein for breakfast, maybe 10 to 50 kilograms from toast or cereal, a bit more for lunch, a small sandwich, and then a massive protein bomb for dinner, a 10-ounce steak, delivering 65 genes or more. Dr. Patton-Jones conducted a foundational study published in the Journal of Nutrition. He took a group of older adults and compared two different eating patterns, even when the total daily protein was the same. Group A, the skewed diet, ate protein in that typical 10 joule, 15 joule, 65G pattern. Group B, the spread diet, ate their protein evenly, 30 gain, 30 gallon, 30G, across breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The results were astonishing. The group that ate 30 grams of protein at breakfast, Group B, had a 25% higher rate of 24-hour muscle protein synthesis than the group that ate a low-protein breakfast. Let me make this plain. Even with the same total protein, the simple act of moving protein from dinner to breakfast caused their bodies to build 25% more muscle. This proves that your 10-gram breakfast is a massive wasted metabolic opportunity. You cannot make up for a low-protein breakfast by eating a giant dinner. The on switch for muscle building must be flipped multiple times per day, and breakfast is the most important time to do it. Principle number 2, protein quality, the leucine trigger. So our first rule is 30 grams, but is all protein created equal? No. This is the second part of our blueprint. The protein must be of high quality, and in the world of muscle science, quality has one name: leucine. Think of it this way. If protein is the lumber to build your muscle house, leucine is the foreman on the job site who blows the whistle to tell the workers to start building. You can have a whole pile of lumber, but if the foreman isn't there, no work gets done. Leucine is what scientists call a branched chain amino acid, BCAA. It is the primary amino acid that signals your muscles to begin muscle protein synthesis, MPS. Research by world-leading experts like Dr. Stuart Phillips and Dr. Donald Lehman has shown that to flip that switch in older adults, a meal needs to contain about 2.5 to 3.2 grams of leucine. This is the leucine threshold. If your meal has 30 grams of protein but only 1.5 grams of leucine, the foreman never showed up. The on switch remains off. This is the scientific reason why our oatmeal and banana breakfast fails. A bowl of oatmeal with a banana might have 6 to 7 grams of protein, but it has less than 5 grams of leucine. It has no foreman. So where do we get this 3-gram leucine trigger? One scoop of whey protein, the gold standard, delivers about 3.0 Gs of leucine. 1 cup of Greek yogurt, about 2.0 G. 1 cup of cottage cheese, about 2.0 G. 4 whole eggs, about 2.4 G. This also shows why an egg white omelet fails. It's low in leucine. This is why animal proteins and dairy are so incredibly effective at building muscle in seniors. They are a complete package. They deliver both the total grams and the leucine trigger. Principle number 3, protein timing, the metabolic switch. We've got the amount, 30G, and the quality, 3G leucine. The final piece of the blueprint is the timing, and the timing is non-negotiable. Breakfast. When you wake up, you haven't eaten for 8, 10, maybe 12 hours. Your body is in a fasted catabolic state. Catabolic is the opposite of anabolic. It means to break down. Overnight, your body literally eats its own muscle tissue to supply your brain with the glucose it needs. You wake up in a state of active muscle wasting. Breakfast, therefore, is the most important metabolic decision you will make all day. It is the metabolic switch that tells your body what to do next. Choice. I. The oatmeal trap. You eat plain oatmeal. This high-carb, low-protein meal floods your body with sugar. The signal you send is, keep burning muscle and store this new energy as fat. Choice B, the 30G blueprint. You eat a 30-gram high-leucine breakfast. The signal you send is, stop breaking down muscle and start building it. You have flipped the switch from catabolic to anabolic. Research by Dr. Paul Arciero on protein pacing confirmed this. His studies, published in the Journal of Nutrition, took participants and had them front-load their protein, eating more of it earlier in the day. The results? The protein pacing group, who ate a high-protein breakfast, saw significantly greater reductions in body fat, greater reductions in waist circumference, and most importantly, greater increases in lean muscle mass compared to a group eating a standard low-protein breakfast. So this is the solution. This is the 30-gram breakfast blueprint. The real solution to fighting sarcopenia is a strategy that must meet these 3 criteria. Your breakfast must hit the 30-gram threshold to overcome anabolic resistance, contain the 3-gram leucine trigger to act as the foreman, be eaten at breakfast to flip your body from muscle wasting to muscle building. This is the comprehensive science-backed plan. Now, what does this mean for our beloved bowl of oatmeal? Do we have to throw it out? Absolutely not, because now that we have the blueprint, we can fix it. In the next section, I'm going to show you 3 simple, cheap, and delicious ways to apply this 30-gram blueprint directly to your morning oatmeal, turning it from the problem into the ultimate solution. The 3 oatmeal hacks, applying the 30-gram blueprint. So we have our 30-gram breakfast blueprint. We know we need at least 25 to 30 grams of protein. We know we need the 3-gram leucine trigger to act as the foreman. And we know we must do this at breakfast to flip our bodies from muscle wasting to muscle building. Now, we get to the fun part. What does this mean for our beloved bowl of oatmeal? The one we thought was the problem? Well, that oatmeal is no longer the problem. It's the vehicle. It's the perfect, fiber-rich, heart-healthy base to build our 30-gram powerhouse. I am going to show you 3 practical, cheap, and absolutely delicious ways to hack your oatmeal, transforming it from a nutritional whisper into a muscle-building roar. These are the specific, detailed applications of the science we just learned. Hack number 1, the leucine launch, the gold standard. The first solution is the fastest, most efficient, and scientifically speaking, the most potent. I call it the leucine launch. This is for those of you who are busy or you just want to guarantee you are hitting that leucine trigger every single time. We are going to use whey protein isolate. Whey protein is, quite literally, the gold standard in all of the clinical studies on muscle protein synthesis, from researchers like Dr. Stuart Phillips and Dr. Patton Jones. Why? Because it is the richest known source of leucine on the planet, and it's fast digesting, meaning that leucine hits your bloodstream quickly, acting like a starter pistol for muscle growth. The hack is incredibly simple. Cook your half cup of dry oats as you normally would. That gives you your 5 or 6 grams of protein. Then, and this is a critical tip, let it cool for just a minute. Do not dump the powder into boiling hot oats, or it will clump up. Stir in 1 scoop of a high-quality whey protein isolate. Most brands will provide 25 to 27 grams of protein per scoop. Now, let's do the math. Protein, 5 grams from oats, plus 25 grams from whey, is 30 grams total protein. We've met the threshold. Leucine. That single scoop of whey contains approximately 2.8 to 3.0 grams of leucine. The oats add another 0.3 grams. We are over the leucine trigger threshold. In 30 seconds, you have just created the perfect anabolic breakfast. You have successfully met all 3 criteria of our blueprint. I prefer an unflavored or a simple vanilla whey. It just mixes in, makes the oatmeal incredibly creamy, and provides the most powerful on-switch for your muscles. This is efficiency at its best. Hack number 2, the dairy-dense stack, the whole food powerhouse. But Frank, you might say, I'm not a fan of protein powders. I want to do this with 100% whole foods. I completely understand. For you, we have solution number 2, I call it the dairy-dense stack. We are going to stack high-quality protein sources to build our way up to 30 grams. And our secret weapons here are two dairy superstars, Greek yogurt and cottage cheese. Why these? Because both are packed with protein, and they are rich in both fast-digesting whey and slow-digesting casein. This gives you that quick leucine spike, plus a sustained release of amino acids for hours. Here's the application. You have two choices. The sweet stack with Greek yogurt. First, make your oatmeal with 1 cup of milk, or high-protein soy milk, instead of water. That instantly adds 8 grams of protein. After it's cooked, stir in a hefty half cup of plain, non-fat Greek yogurt. That adds another 10 to 12 grams of protein. Top it with 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, 4G protein, and a handful of almonds, 5G protein. The math, 5, oats, plus 8, milk, plus 12 are yogurt, 4 chia, often almonds, on 34 grams of protein. The leucine, the combined leucine from the milk, yogurt, and nuts, will easily get you over that 2.5 gram threshold. The creamy stack with cottage cheese. This is my personal favorite. Cook your oats. Stir in a half cup of 2% or forward cottage cheese. It sounds strange, I know, but trust me, it melts into the oatmeal, making it unbelievably creamy and adding just a hint of savory saltiness. It cuts the gummy texture. That half cup of cottage cheese adds a solid 12 to 14 grams of protein, including about 1.4 grams of leucine all by itself. The math, 5 oats, plus 14 cottage cheese equals 19 grams. We're not there yet, so we add our toppers, a handful of walnuts, 4G, and a scoop of hemp seeds, 10G. Total, 5 plus 14 plus 4 plus equals 33 grams of protein. With the dairy-dense stack, you're using whole foods to create a complex, delicious, and deeply satisfying breakfast that hits every one of our scientific targets. Hack number 3, the savory switch-up, the egg solution. Finally, solution number 3. This is for those of you who are tired of sweet breakfasts, and it's the perfect way to debunk that egg white only myth we talked about. I call this the savory switch-up. We are going to treat our oatmeal like a savory grit or a polenta, and we are going to use the entire egg. Please, I am begging you, stop throwing away the yolk. The yolk contains half the protein of the egg, and it's where you find the leucine, the vitamin D, the B vitamins, and the choline for your brain. Here is the application. Cook your half cup of oats in bone broth, chicken or beef, instead of water. This adds a savory flavor and an easy 8 to 10 grams of protein and collagen. While it's simmering, poach, fry, or scramble 2 whole eggs. That's another 12 grams of the highest quality protein. Pour your savory oats into a bowl. Stir in a 1/4 cup of cottage cheese, another 7 GI protein, for creaminess. Slide those 2 beautiful eggs right on top. Maybe add some green onions or a dash of hot sauce. Let's do the math on that one. Protein, 5 oats, plus 10 broth, plus 7 cottage cheese, plus 12 2 eggs, equals 34 grams of protein. Leucine. The leucine from the 2 whole eggs, about 1.2 G, combined with the cottage cheese, 0.7 G, and broth oats gets you to your target. You've just created a breakfast that tastes like a high-end restaurant meal, is packed with nutrients, and has officially flipped the switch on muscle growth. So there you have it. 3 simple, practical, and science-backed ways. You don't have to give up your oatmeal. You just have to stop eating it naked. We've turned the trap into the trigger, the recap, and your 7-day challenge. So, to quickly recap what we learned today, We learned that age-related muscle loss isn't just normal aging. It's massively accelerated by a scientific concept called anabolic resistance. Our muscles, as we get older, are hard of hearing to the signals for growth. We debunked the myth that your standard heart-healthy bowl of oatmeal is a good breakfast for seniors. We learned that its 5 grams of protein is just a nutritional whisper that our muscles can't even detect. And finally, we discovered the real solution, the 30-gram breakfast blueprint. We learned how to apply this science with 3 simple hacks using powerful, high-leucine foods like whey protein, Greek yogurt, and whole eggs to turn our oatmeal from a trap into a trigger for muscle growth. Now, information is only powerful when we act on it. So, I have a small challenge for you. For the next 7 days, I challenge you. Do not eat naked oatmeal. Just try one of the 3 hacks we discussed. Pick the one that sounds easiest to you, and just pay attention to how you feel mid-morning. Do you feel fuller? Do you have more stable energy? Remember, building a stronger, healthier life after 60 is a journey, not a destination. It's about making these small, consistent choices every single day. I would love to hear from you. What is the one oatmeal hack you are going to try first? Are you going for the leucine launch, with whey, the dairy-dense stack, or the savory switch-up? Please share your choice in the comments below. I am truly passionate about this community, and I read every single one. If you found this information helpful, please click that thumbs up button. It truly helps the channel. Share it with a friend or family member who might also be stuck in the oatmeal trap. And of course, be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.